Good morning. Peace and blessings, everyone. Happy Sunday. Sunday is the day that the sun rules, and the sun is currently at the 3rd degree of Cancer. We are in the 3rd day of summer, which is quite nice here in Los Angeles. We have been having the most unusual weather through this year. We've had so much unusual weather this year. We had tons of rain, like unbelievable rain that I actually loved so much. It was amazing, like all the rain we had. And then we had months of overcast days. Even this morning when I woke up, it was overcast. And that has been more challenging to be present to. And I have started a practice of focusing on my nature, the nature of me, that is the feminine, that is connected to nature. So when the sun wasn't coming out, I would do my work every day in my heart area, because the heart is connected to the sun. And it was like literally doing the work to open my heart, because they say that most Americans die of heart disease because our hearts are closed. It's me, Kimmy. Kimma, you want to come in? Who is this? Okay, do you want me to? Okay, let's see. If she wants to come, she'll come. You want to come? Come on. So anyway, I've been doing the work to open my heart, and okay, okay, great. The work to open my heart, and what does that look like? Such profound practices. So it looks like self-forgiveness, forgiving myself for the choices that I made that were actually against my true nature. Okay. Okay. Cool. I would love you guys to come. IG now is asking if you want to join the live with people. Okay. Cool. I didn't know that. So anyway, it looks like me doing the work to open my heart. And the first thing is self-forgiveness work. And that is the work of forgiving myself for the choices I made, that invited experience into my life that were unfortunate in some ways. Now, here's the thing. Everything works out for my highest, best, and good. Even the most challenging experiences that I have invited people in work out for my highest, best, and good. And that is an evolutionary idea that has to expand inside of me. But initially, when I have done things that didn't go the way I wanted them to go, and I wasn't in the mindset that I was learning a lesson, it felt like a negative experience. It felt like I was a victim. It felt like someone did something to me. So I have to forgive myself for that perspective. I have to forgive myself for believing that somebody could do something that I didn't actually invite them to do at some level. That's what, remember I was talking earlier about a few posts ago about women and the subconscious, like understanding the power of our subconscious. And that has been such a trip, because as women, we're so cut off from our true desires, like what we really desire. And as women, we know when we're around other women or we're in private spaces, we have talked about, the desire to be manhandled or the desire to be forced into sexual experiences. Like there is a internal desire for that. And the reason that is because it's suppressed in the subconscious, because the thing that, like they say that women always like the bad boys, because that is the thing that has been created as taboo in our culture. So the person who holds the shadow of the bad boy is projected as, not good for you, not safe. So we want them more is what happens. But that's through conditioning and programming. That's not because of something that's natural. That's because of the programming that says that's bad, and therefore because it's bad it's going to be more exciting. And so we have these subconscious things that are actually drawing in things that we deeply actually do want, but we don't have the mindset, the conscious mind, to realize that we want it. So we project it in these experiences. So this is where rape comes from. Like, the reason women get raped, and it's so hard to say that we are the generators of it, but we are. That's the only way to be with it, that we are the generators of all of reality, and anything that's happening to us is happening through us. And when I got that lesson, it fucked me up. It really fucked me up, because I had to sit down, first of all, and I had to realize that I'm fucking powerful. I'm really powerful. I can really generate anything I desire. So that was the first thing. So I forgive myself for the ways that I didn't know my power, that I rejected my power, that I denied my power, and that I projected my power onto other people. I am forgiving myself for the ways that I have forgotten my power, disowned my power, not allowed myself to be responsible for my power, and projected it onto other people. I forgive myself for that. And so then after that, after the self-forgiveness work, there is like, it has to be embodied. Like, one of the things that I've also learned in this work, if it's not coming through the body, if you are not in your body and you're just in your head, it's nothing. It's empty, because the brain is just an information system. That's it. The body is what's holding all the memory. The body is where everything is really taking place. So I have to then do the work to move that energy through my body. And how do I do that? Like right now I'm wearing a yoni egg, and that yoni egg is the bloodstone egg. So it's infusing my system with another frequency of power that really does give me the courage to move into another way of being. Another thing I've learned doing this healing work is you cannot theorize any of this shit, y'all. You can't theorize anything. If you don't actually do the work, this stuff lives in our systems like phantoms, literally. It's literally like a phantom living in you. So for instance, once I got divorced, I was really clear that I didn't want to go back. Like, when I got divorced, the thing that I learned about when I was married was that the institution in and of itself is not for me. It's not about a particular man. It's about any man in that institution. I don't fuck with it, right? I really don't. So when I walked out of marriage, I was clear. This is something that I likely will never create for myself again, because the institution demoralizes, destabilizes, and takes away the power of women. So I got really clear about that. And then when I came out of it, because I'm a heterosexual woman, I'm still attracted to men sexually. Like, I'm aware of that. And let me just say this. I've tempted myself into experiences with women before. I'm a heterosexual woman. Let's just say it that way. I know they use language now like cis and all that kind of stuff. I like dick. That's all I can say. Whatever it is, it's my preference, right? But the way men are conditioned in our culture, I do not like it. I do not like to be suppressed by men. I do not want to be owned by men. I do not want to be controlled by a man. I do not want to be manipulated by a man. I do not want to be anything but in friendship and connection and communion and community, and sometimes in bed with men. That's what I want. I do not need all of that other stuff that the world says is necessary, that really just traps women into giving up our power. And I don't want that, right? So I have to really work on, how do I negotiate my relationships with men? Because most men are in these old patriarchal ideas of needing to possess and control a woman. And that's not who I am. I don't need that. I don't want that. And I don't need men for reasons that most women need men. I don't need a man for his money. I do not need it. I got my own money. I have my own business. I'm doing my own thing. I don't need a man for his money. I don't need a man to protect me. I'm connected to the universe. I'm connected to the trees and the birds and the oceans and the skies and the plants. Who can protect me better than that? I don't need that. You know what I mean? I don't need a man's physical force to protect me. The universe is my protection mechanism. I am protected by the all that is. So I don't need a man for that. I don't need a man to, get me access into the world. The universe opens up the doors that are meant for me to be opened, that are meant to be opened up for me. So I don't need a man for that. What I do need a man for is male perspective. And I love fucking smart ass men. I need male perspective. It is very different than the perspective of women and of the feminine. And like I said, I am sexually attracted, magnetized by men. So my sexuality, my sexual juices, all of that is very ignited and turned on by the masculine. So that would be another reason. So really the reasons that I need men are so different and limited in comparison to how most people relate to men, to how most women are relating to men. So I have had to really reconfigure how I move through the world. And the thing that I'm discovering is that now that I have freed myself from a system that is patriarchal and anchored in male dominance, my magic is flowing better because I'm not attached to. Sorry, this man is trying to figure out how to get in the gate and I'm distracted by it. And okay, he's done it. Thank you. Hold on a second. Now that now that I have done the work to get clear about who I really am, and I've freed myself from the rat race that is the relationships between men and women. Like, I don't have that stuff going on. And as I've released myself from those behaviors and patterns that no longer serve me, that used to keep me anxious, competitive, scrambling, depressed, sad, frustrated, and full of shame because I wasn't sure how to meet my needs. And I would do things that went against my natural rhythm to get my needs met, like working for people or working for companies where I really didn't believe in the mission of the company, right? Like I was telling you guys one time how I used to sell insurance to teachers. And when I was selling insurance to teachers, in the script, it said, like it's a guarantee that you're going to get cancer. Like that's what the script said. And that was against my integrity, like, because I understand the spoken word. I understand if somebody in authority tells someone something, that if they believe it and buy into it, then that becomes their reality. I understand the power of my words. So I didn't want to be selling people cancer insurance, telling them they were going to get cancer, projecting into their reality disease so that I could get money. Like that went against my integrity as a soul, as a divine feminine. I'm not here to do harm. I'm here to add value and benefit and grace and eternality to people's lives. I'm not here to take away. When I had this job, it was right when my son was born. So I was 40 when I was 38 when my son was born. I was 38 when my son was born. So I was about 40 years old. And I had to really understand myself. So the point of this, like of what I'm talking about, is that the sun is in Cancer. Um, the sun is in Cancer, and you're a Pisces rising. No, Matthew, I'm sorry, you guys. You're Pisces rising, and the Pisces rising is very connected to the collective experience, the collective suffering, the collective transformation, the collective death. All of that's Pisces rising. So you will need to find a way to be able to navigate this, because it doesn't go away as a Pisces rising. You're going to have to find a way to make peace with it so that you can move through the world understanding that you're here to experience it for the purpose of transmuting it through you. So back to my point about women. It is so important for women right now to begin to realize their power, their true power, who they really are, separate and apart from everything else. And most of us are profoundly conditioned by external leadership. We believe that we in and of ourselves need protection, and we need someone to take care of us. And in and in the lens of the patriarchy, that that gives men power over us, because we have a story that we need men to protect us. But the reason we need men to protect us is because we are not connected to our subconscious power. Because when you are connected to your subconscious power, we don't need anyone to protect us. That is why they had the witch hunts, because women were controlling the temperature. Women were talking to the animals. Women were, healing with the herbs. And so men had a very, very, very small role in the necessities of women. It's not that they didn't have any role, but we didn't need them. We didn't need them as doctors. We didn't need them as ministers and preachers, because we could talk to God. We didn't need them to heal us because we knew where to get the medicine from. We didn't need them to protect us because we were connected to the all forces. So we were the ones who were bending and wielding reality. We didn't need them for the things that we have become to need them for. And this has taken us out of our power, because our gifts and talents and magic has atrophied because we're not using it. We're not using it in the way that it's meant to be used. And that is why it is important for us to do the work. While this sun is in Cancer season, today the sun is at the 3rd degree of Cancer. The 3rd degree is the degree that rules the memory. And the feminine holds the memory, all the DNA for humanity in Black women. Black women hold the DNA of all of humanity in our system. And so if we could just begin to ask ourselves the right questions. Who am I really? And what am I capable of? What can I do? How can I be more than I know myself to be? What is it that's possible through me? What is it that I can do and be that I don't know that I can do and be? These are the questions that will lead us beyond our current conditions and circumstances and creations and into new possibilities, but it must be led by women. If we continue to listen to the masculine, if we continue to listen to the masculine for our sense of well-being, the whole world is doomed. Men don't have the codes to save us. They don't have the codes to be what they tell us they are, what the conditioning tells us they are. Not, I feel like there are men out there who are beginning to get it, that we are the ones who are tapped into the invisible. So if we are listening to them, their information is limited. Their perspectives are limited. Their perspectives don't include the full scope of all of creation, because they are not capable of doing that. That's just not how they're made. That's like, ants are designed to do what ants do. They have colonies, they work together, and they are powerful in their own right. But elephants are designed to do what elephants do. You know what I mean? You got to really understand the difference of the way you're made to function, and you have to understand the mechanics of your own sense of gender and your own everything. And here's the thing, there is this profound thing happening in conversations with women in the world right now that really blows my mind, because we're watching this transgender conversation, which I feel like people get to do whatever they want to do. But what that confuses is the divine nature of the feminine. There is an aspect of being a woman that is not about your biology. Like no, you have to be a woman to know that. There is an aspect of being a woman that has nothing to do with the fact that you can procreate, with the fact that you can take things into your body. That is the biology of being a woman. But to be a real woman has nothing to do with that. We are connected to eternity. Like I said, our bodies hold the memory of what it means to be able to create a woman, to be able to create a human being. Our bodies hold memory of that. And you cannot biologically replace that. Your changing your gender won't give you that. That is exclusive to biological women, and not even all biological women have access to the thing that really makes a woman a woman. Not all of them do, because it just doesn't come through their bloodline. It just isn't a part of their DNA structure. So it's something that cannot be replicated, because women are the physical manifestation of God on earth. Women are that. And it cannot be manipulated through medicine, through surgery, through any sort of thing that can be done. It cannot. It's just divine. It's just what it is. You cannot create God over again, because God is the creator of itself. So you can put a mask on it, you can put some titties on it and tuck its penis under and try to fit it in and make it but the thing that makes a woman really a woman cannot be done in a science lab or in a hospital. And that's just the truth. And you have to be a woman to know what that is. And so, it's really important that we who are devoted to the spirituality of humanity, because the spirituality of humanity is what's really being fucked with right now, right? And the spirituality of humanity passes through the feminine. It is invisible and unseen. You cannot witness this with your eyes. The thing that happens when a woman gets pregnant by a man's semen, right? When she gets pregnant, the thing that she does inside of herself to build a body in her body is not for anyone's eyes. That's why it's happening inside of her. It's not to be shared with anyone. It's not to be understood at the level that they're trying to understand. It cannot be replicated. It is not, it is a function of biology, but it is also a function of spirituality. It is also a function of the divine feminine. It is a function of the great mother. And that's why some people they can be a woman, but they still can't get pregnant. They still can't conceive, because every woman cannot conceive, because every woman cannot be a channel of that powerful energy that generates another human being within herself. Only God can do that. God, goddess. Let's call it goddess. Only the goddess is capable of that. And that is the reproductive function of humanity in a woman. And that is the goddess. So it is important that we begin to understand this so that we aren't caught up in these conversations around what gender is. It doesn't really matter. If you know who God is and you know what the God goddess is doing in you, it almost doesn't matter what gender you are. It really matters your connection to the supreme being within you, to the supreme power within you. And the supreme power within you is to be able to recreate life. Now, here's the thing. Recreating life doesn't just mean a human being. Recreating life means you get to give birth to worlds. And most of us as women don't realize that we birth reality. We birth reality. We are the givers of all of life. We say who comes into our body. I say who lays down with me. I say who puts the seed or the semen inside of me. I say who does that. I am the chooser of that. I say who comes out. I say who comes out. I say if this being inside of me lives or dies. I say that. What does that make me? God in this reality. I am God. I say yes to who comes into this system, this universe, and who comes out. Every woman is that. Even if she is not conceiving a human being, she is conceiving a reality, because everything you think and everything you're focused on, everything you're digesting mentally, spiritually, and emotionally will be gestated in your system and will come out. Women create reality. And even if you give birth, like a woman gives birth to a human being, that human being may have been the creator of a vehicle, may have been the creator of a new education system, may have been the creator of a government, may have been the creator of something that heals people. Because the woman that created him, those ideas got gestated in him when he was in that woman. And then that woman is then the generator of that reality that he creates. But it all comes from the woman. It's all really coming through her, right? So it is so important for us to begin to really understand the nature of who we are so that we function consciously in it. So when we hear all these stories and all these conversations, those are just distractions from the true power that you possess that no other can possess. So you have to do the work to forgive yourself, to let go of the old narratives, to let go of who you're waiting on to come and make you feel better. Somebody said something that pissed you off, and your mama did this and your daddy did that, and somebody raped you and somebody did this. All that shit. It's time for you to let it all go, because those narratives are blocking you from the true power that you are. The true power that you are is the divine feminine. And there is no other power on the planet like it. The divine masculine is a helpmate to the divine feminine, because without the divine feminine, the divine masculine has nothing to fucking do. The masculine has nothing to do if the feminine is not doing her job to generate reality. He is sitting and wait for her. She is going to have the babies. She is going to create the reality. She's going to have the ideas. She is the one who does it all. And he is waiting for her to create so then he can do something with what she has created. So if we don't understand that that's our power and our role, then that is why everything is fucked up, because women have forgotten who they are. It's not men's faults that they are out here, claiming this and acting like they're this and because we're not in the driver's seat. Like I always say, if you leave the car on and you sit in the passenger seat and the driver's seat is open and the keys are in the ignition, somebody gonna come in that motherfucker and drive it. Somebody gonna say, well, ain't nobody driving it, I'm gonna drive it. Well, women haven't been driving. We have not been driving. And that is exactly why your man is looking at you like, what's next? That's right. Because they don't have any ideas, because they are not connected to the source. We are connected to the source. We are the source. That's why the babies come out of us and not them, because we are the source. So you must begin to see yourself as the source. You must begin to see yourself as the source. I spent so many years looking to men as the source. And I would find myself getting manipulated and tricked, and because they are not the source. I was looking to them for the wrong things. I should have been looking to them to say, here's what I need help with. Can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? Because they are not the source. They are here to help. How do I feel about all this hate Black men spewing on Black women? I get it. Because I get it. Like, when you are attempting to do something that you are not capable of doing, and the people who are capable of doing it are not doing it and saying that it's your job, you would hate them. Like, we are telling them that they need to protect and provide. That's not their role. That's not their role. Not in the truth of it, right? It's our role to protect and provide. Why? Because we are connected to the divine forces of the universe. When I say to my man, baby, wherever you walk, you are safe and loved and held and cared for, that is me speaking to the universe. So that means that wherever he goes, he's going to be safe and loved and protected and cared for, because the universe hears my speaking. The universe is tied into me, not him. So when I speak that on his behalf, I have protected him. When I say, I see you happy, when I envision him happy and held and loved and safe and connected and powerful and enthusiastic, when I envision that, the universe picks up that yantra that I have in my mind and transfers it to him. That's my power. I'm transferring my power, my connection to him. I am his protector. I'm his protector. I'm his provider. Nature provides the food, the sustenance, right? That's the feminine. Nature is producing the trees and the fruits. That's nature. That's the feminine. Here, baby, eat this food. I'm doing that. That comes through the feminine. So when men are angry, I get it. I really do, because we've been forcing them and asking them to do things that they're not made to do naturally. Men have strength. You know, they are physically strong. Men are intellectual, like they have intellect. Let me tell you, ain't nothing like a smart man to get me so turned on. Like, when I listen to a brother who I hear saying some stuff, I'm like, ooh, baby. I be trying to think about it. How I'm gonna get because that is sexy to me. It is sexy to be in connection with men who are thinking and who know how to use their strength and might to serve the well-being of his community. To serve the well-being of his community, not to take, not to extract, not to oppress, not to divide, but to actually help everyone thrive. Like, that's a sexy motherfucker. That's like for real, right? Like, this man is coming to actually help and see what he can do and bring his power. And oh yeah, him. That's the one right there. How you doing, young man? So it's really important for us to understand the roles of men and to know that we're not going to garner those understandings from Western religion. We're not going to garner it from politics. We're not going to garner it from these debates around what is, what's a man and what's a woman and all of these. So that's why we have to do the work to forgive ourselves, so that we don't continue to be on the hamster wheel of these outdated conversations that really don't mean anything in our world today at all. You want to come in? You know the code?
I never do.
Okay. So we have this incredible opportunity to heal ourselves, to do the work to heal ourselves so that we can get in right order. The right order. And what is the right order? With the feminine in the lead. Now, guess what? Sometimes the masculine holds the feminine. Sometimes the masculine holds the feminine, because the feminine is not really always about a gender. It mostly is, but not always, right? So sometimes the masculine holds the feminine. And if that's the case, so be it. Then the man gets in the feminine role and is the connection to the divine, and is the connection to the vision, and the connection to what it should look like, and telling the masculine, who happens to be in the feminine, what to do. Go out. This is what we need to do. This is how it's going to look. And that's not always the case. That's a very rare experience. But if it is, honor it. Let it be. Let it be. Because the roles can change. But we have to be willing to be flexible. We have to be willing to be fluid and allow ourselves. You're not getting it? So I just invite you all. Come on, this way. My niece is here, my cousin. I invite you all to use this Cancer Sun energy. She's really walking away from the camera like she has no intention. But I'd bring her over here. Come on over here and get in the camera. Hi. That's Taylor. Okay, so use this energy to begin to remember. And when I do readings for people say, oh, I don't know that side of my family, and I didn't know this person. That's not what remembering is. Remember isn't talking to the people who lived longer than you. That's not it. Remembering is trusting what you feel, right? Like, I have always felt magical. I have always felt it. When nobody was saying you're magical, I have always felt my connection to the divine. I have always heard the voice of the creator. I've always heard spirit telling to me, do this or do that or do that or drink. And I have done my best to listen, and so the work is to remember your connection. So you set up an altar in your house and you pray and you ask to remember. I need to remember who I am. I need to remember what I'm up to, my purpose, I need to remember. And you will remember, because nothing here is hidden. Like, men, things are hidden from men because it's not that it's hidden from them. They just don't have the brain power to perceive the invisible in the way that women do. So men have more physical external strength, and women have more internal strength, right? More subconscious strength. So you don't have to talk to anybody to remember. You remember by believing in your feelings and feeling and connecting. And so now I study my astrology, so I remember where I'm from. I remember what I'm here for. I remember all of the people who are in my life. I know that I have people in my life who are reincarnated from past experience, because I've tapped into the memory of it. I've tapped into like the Akashic record. Nothing is withheld. Nothing. We just have been listening to these fucking white people who don't have access to this stuff generally, and so they don't remember. Like, it's coming out now that the CIA has been doing all these tests and know all this shit, but they've been withholding it. Why? Because they want to compete, because they want to control, because they want to oppress. So you can do all those things on your own, and then you free yourself from all of these oppressive experiences. Western religion, capitalism, all of that stuff. When you start to, like, one of the things that I'm beginning to do is, like, I talk to the computer, I talk to everything. I'm starting to tap into my own AI experience. We are AI, you all. We are advanced intelligence. We are advanced intelligence. I do not provide Akashic record readings, but I know someone who does that I would be happy to connect you to, Matthew. We are the advanced intelligence, but you have to advance your intelligence. You can't wait on anybody, and that's the thing that they have done to women. Women are in the position of waiting, and we should not be waiting. The men need to be waiting. Women are the generators of reality. So reality is going to bend to our will and do what we tell it to do, which is why it is the way that it is now, because women are not telling it to do anything. And we are just reactionary. So we have a whole world that is filled with war because women are at war within themselves. And so we are out picturing war. That's why it's the way it is, because of us, y'all. We think it's because of them. They're just doing what we have allowed them to do because we are not in our roles. Playing the game until I get the money, that's right. None of that shit is real. None of that is real. There is no until. It's now. It's now. And if you start now, the universe will show up and prove it to you. The universe is so magical. Like, it's just profound. I'm never without. It's such a, like, I'm in awe. I'm in awe of the depths of my connection with the universe. In awe of how profound and magical this place really is when you are curious and you desire to know and you ask the questions. And I connect myself to other women who do this work. So this is the only conversation I'm in now. Everywhere I go, this is the conversation. Healing, transformation, magic, changing the world. Everywhere I go, this is it. I'm not talking about anything else. I don't give a fuck about anything else, except how am I going to leave the world better than when I got in this motherfucker? How am I going to make this motherfucker be something that's worthy of my child, who is a king? I gave birth to a king. I gave birth to a God. Why? Because I'm a God. I gave birth to a God. How am I going to leave this world worthy of the God that I gave birth to? That's my responsibility. That is my responsibility. That's not a man's responsibility. I'm not leaving that. I'm not making anybody be responsible for the world that I desire to see. I cannot make a man responsible for that. Men don't build the world. Men build it, but they need the vision from the woman. And if the woman isn't saying, here, baby, I need you to go do this. I need this to happen. In alignment with a cosmic plan. Not just, I want to have some fucking red, but I don't give a fuck about Louis Vuitton and red bottom. I don't care about any of that stuff. I care about leaving a world. When I leave here, my fingerprint is that the world is better because women are awake to their power. We are not sitting waiting for men who don't have the kind of power we have. They don't have it. They can't access it. It's not available to them. So they're limited in their function, in their mechanics. They're limited in their mechanics. And for those of them who are magical or spiritual, they have more. They have more than those who don't, but they still don't have as much as a woman who is unconscious. A woman who is unconscious has far more power than a man who is conscious. She's just using it incorrectly. So it's our responsibility as women. It is our responsibility to vision a new world, And how I did that for me was like, I'm not going to be working for $20 an hour. I'm not going to be selling insurance to make people think they're going to die. I'm not going to go be a lawyer and defend people in a system that's already crooked. I'm not going to go use my energy in ways that really does not add any real value. I'm not going to use my energy in ways, my power, my magic, my essence in ways that doesn't really add value. So then I had to sit down and say, well, what is it that would add value? How will I add value? What can I do that adds value? I had to ask, what is it that I really desire? What really matters? Well, and literally for years I've been asking that, and I have finally gotten clear about what really matters to me and what I love the most, what I love the most is working with people and watching them wake the fuck up. There is nothing like it. There is absolutely nothing like working with people and having them be one way, and then they start to get it. They start to get it, and they start to feel it. They actually start to feel something moving in their system that is different. And I get to be the one that witnesses that. It is the most profound thing ever. It's like, oh my God, I get to watch people come alive. I get to watch people go from being dead, because most of us are dead, and actually coming into living consciousness. And it is like, it's like an orgasmic feeling. It is so orgasmic because it's like watching God come online. And I have to say to you guys, I work with a lot of men. Men tend to get it faster than women because they're more linear. And it usually takes women longer, but I just love the process no matter who's getting it, because it's literally like watching God come online. Like I watch people turn into God, and it's like, whoa. It is revolutionary. And there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. So that's it. That's all I have to share today. I've said a lot. Every time I come here, I think I'm gonna be here for 10 minutes, and then it turns out being 20 minutes or so. I love you guys. Have a beautiful, today is the sun rules the day. The sun is in Cancer at the 3rd degree. The sun in Cancer is about nurturing yourself, and it's really nurturing yourself at the blueprint of who you really are. It's really waking up to your inner world. Cancer is the moon. It's the mother, right? So you have to mother yourself. You have to nurture yourself. You have to give yourself what you need. You give yourself what you need so that you can become who you are meant to be. And only you really know what you need. That's the thing. So only you really know what you need. Really know what you need. Like, I remember when I got divorced, and I'm going to stop talking in a minute. But when I got divorced, I really wanted my ex-husband to apologize to me. Like, that was the thing that I was so aware of. I was so angry, I wanted him to apologize. And I started asking myself, why do you want him to apologize? And what I just asked over and over, why do you want him to apologize? And what I really got to was that I wanted him apologizing would mean that he saw me. If he could apologize, it would mean that he really saw who I really was. And then I was like, okay, so now you need to see yourself. If you want him to apologize for not seeing you or for misunderstanding you, then you see yourself as you really are. If you cannot expect a man to see you if you are not willing to see yourself. If you are, and in that moment, I stopped pretending. I used to be afraid to tell people that I was a seer, that I was psychic, or that I was afraid to really be myself out in the open because it wasn't Christian, because it was looked upon, because I was going to be weird. So I had to demand of myself what I was demanding of my ex. And when I started giving it to myself, it changed everything. So give yourself what you need. Do not anticipate or expect somebody else to do for you only what you can do, because nobody knows you like you know yourself, and nobody can, and it's nobody's business but yours. So stop expecting people to do it. It's not possible. It's not possible. And we get into these relationships expecting some romantic fantasy stuff, and that stuff does not exist. All right. I love you guys. I'm getting ready to go. Have a really beautiful day. Bye, everyone. My niece is leaving me, so I got to go. All right. Bye-bye.